Coming up on Mountain News this morning, one Kentucky farm has looked past conventional means of getting electricity by looking towards the sun. And Kentucky is joining a group of states challenging the minimum staffing rule for nursing homes.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning, I'm Madison Carmouche. We're coming up on 5 o'clock this Friday morning, and yes, we made it. It is Friday. Let's send it over to meteorologist Megan Desmall for a look at your Friday morning forecast. Megan, what can we look forward to this Friday morning?
Well, first of all, you can look forward that it's Friday. The weekend's finally here, but the temperatures for this weekend are even better. So definitely looking forward to those temperatures and the sunny weather. But right now in eastern Kentucky, fog isn't much of an issue. Looking at Mount Vernon, you can see there's not much going on. And if you take a look at the visibility for the area, everywhere is 10+ mile visibility for the most part, with the exception of Harlan and Williamsburg. A little bit more foggy in those patches of area, so just be a little bit more careful on the road this morning. Current temperatures, though, we are in the 40s overall. Not a bad start to the morning compared to some weather we could be seeing in the future, but overall not too terrible. Those high temperatures today, though, those will be fantastic. We're looking at the mid-70s in some parts of our area for today's size, so definitely going to be looking forward to that. Nice and sunny skies for today, so don't forget your sunglasses as you head out the door. Sunrise in a couple of hours. Madison?
All right, Megan, thank you. Less than 1% of Kentucky's electricity is generated from solar. In recent years, the state has been caught in a true power struggle. Kelsey Soto shows us one program that may be getting overlooked.
As farmers, you've always were caretakers of the land. You've always had an appreciation for the land.
Preserve and protect. It's a priority for Conrad Banderoff, a second-generation farmer here at Denali Stud in Paris.
The one on the left is the foaling barn, so that's where every foal was born on the farm here.
With 800 acres and plenty of land, they decided to do something green.
We've kind of pioneered it and led the way, but you're starting to see some more horse farms that are calling saying, tell me more about this solar that you guys are doing.
He tells me they've been working on solar energy investments for the last 12 years. They've already got 9 installations and are planning for another later this year.
Reducing the installation cost by 50%, that's significant, and that is something that when we're evaluating, where do we spend our money, the fact that, our money goes 50% farther in the solar has just made sense for us.
Some of those dollars were made possible by federal grants through the Rural Energy for America program. Dr. Tom Carew is the state director of the USDA's Office of Rural Development.
We have a IGA grocery store in Letcher County that's saving $3,500 a month. We've got an auto dealership that has quite a few locations. They're saving $1,000 a month in electricity costs.
He admits it's not often the government tries to give away funding.
I would think they're too good to be true. And to be honest, I think word of mouth is the best source. Talk to some of our previous grantees. Talk to folks about how it's worked for them, how hard it was to get the funding, how quickly they got their money.
But remember, this is coal country, and not everyone sees things in the same light.
It's taken time for parts of the state to be more open to the program, but I think it's beneficial for everybody, and everybody's seeing that benefit now.
Eastern Kentucky is home to some of the highest electricity costs in the state. The program's director says more businesses should take advantage of this moment before the sun sets.
Funding can dry up on these programs as administrations change or that particular bill dies or the funding is used up. So yeah, you'll want to take advantage of this while the dollars are available.
Bottom line is we've never seen the money that we see right now. The opportunity is there, and if they're considering it, now's the time to do it, because we will not see this type of funding availability in the future.
At Denali Stud, more than 80% of their facilities are now operated by solar.
Lights, heat lamps in the winter. This barn here's got 3.
What was once just a dream for his father, now a reality.
He's always been the one, he's like, I can't believe more farms don't do this. And so, for us to really feel like we've, blazed a path for others to follow is great, because we're big believers in the solar energy, and it's worked really well for us.
They're proud to be breeding champions and change. In Paris, Kelsey Soto, WKYT.
Conrad says after strong storms ripped through our region earlier this year, he believes the solar panels actually helped prevent damage to several of his barn roofs. He also says in time, he'd like to invest in electric farm vehicles as part of their daily operations. 20 states, including Kentucky, are challenging a Biden administration rule regarding long-term care facilities. The rule, known as the Nursing Home Minimum Staffing Rule, would require a minimum staffing level for the facilities, as Kentucky already faces an ongoing staffing shortage. The president of a senior living disability service provider advocacy organization says there are many flaws associated with this particular mandate.
We're going to put a very fragile long-term care infrastructure in even more harm's way by implementing something that may result in significant penalties and sanctions against these facilities for not meeting the requirement.
Kentucky's staffing shortages in the nursing home industry is a years-long struggle. It's an issue that was only worsened by the COVID pandemic. The lawsuit says 211 long-term care facilities in Kentucky do not currently meet the rule's staffing requirements. Governor Andy Beshear hosted a Team Kentucky update yesterday. The governor discussed a number of topics, including economic development, the state's response to natural disasters, and infrastructure improvements. Johnson County Judge Executive Mark McKenzie was also in attendance in Frankfort. The Johnson County Fiscal Court is using more than $4.5 million for a project known as the Kentucky 321 Shared Use Path.
And this project represents a tremendous step forward for us in our community's infrastructure, connectivity, and safety. The corridor of Route 321 is one of our most congested and traveled in the community. So with this funding, we will be able to create a dedicated, safe path for pedestrians and cyclists.
McKenzie also says with the funding, this will help those with mobility challenges navigate through the community. In that briefing, Governor Andy Beshear also announced new funding to support veterans. The Kentucky Department of Veterans Affairs Board approved $145,000 to 4 organizations to support veteran programs. Kentucky's Habitat for Humanity received $90,000 of that funding. The money will be used to repair the homes of low-income veterans. Governor Beshear says more than $955,000 has been raised for 29 organizations. Lieutenant Governor Jacqueline Coleman joined several educational leaders in the area to celebrate a new program. The Pathway to Promise program allows easier access to teacher certifications. Interim Southeast Kentucky Community and Technical College President Patsy Jackson says they are addressing recent struggles in the education workforce.
We know that we do have a shortage, and SKCTC, as well as other colleges in KCTCS, are here to ensure that we fill those gaps and we eliminate those shortages, that we are providing the work-ready graduate for Kentucky.
Jackson says they have partnered with a nearby school for dual credit opportunities. Millions of retirees are getting a raise in the new year. The Social Security Administration announced a cost of living adjustment that will bump up monthly checks starting in January, an average of more than $50. 72.5 million Americans receive Social Security benefits, and the 2.5% increase for next year reflects cooling inflation.
The increase is based on the previous year. So if you look at a year where you get a big Social Security cost of living increase, it usually means that the previous year you didn't do so well.
Recipients got a huge bump in 2023 to account for record inflation post-pandemic. Earlier yesterday evening, folks in Pippa Passes gathered for a special Alice Lloyd College celebration. The campus hosted Eagle Madness. The event is a part of the college's homecoming festivities with its athletes in the spotlight. Vice President for Student Affairs Scott Cornett says this event is special for the campus.
We have an opportunity to showcase our athletes, and we have a parade. Our president will be the grand marshal for a parade, and we parade all of our athletes through campus, and then we have a big, huge pep rally down in the meadow.
The Alice Lloyd College Eagle Madness finished with a basketball contest between the men and women's basketball teams. The ALC homecoming festivities will continue throughout the weekend with Appalachia Day on Saturday. Thanks for getting your day started with us here on Mountain News this morning. When we return, officials were able to work together to save 23 people trapped in a Colorado mine.
And a look at how the Northern Lights looked in eastern Kentucky in just a couple of minutes.